This is clearly an act of terrorism. It's sickening. It should make every American angry.
Tonight, Governor Rick Scott of Florida is saying justice will be swift to anyone who commits terrorism in the Sunshine State. Good evening. The search for answers continues tonight after what's being called the deadliest mass shooting in the history of the United States and what's being called the deadliest terrorist attack since September 11th, 2001. 50 people are dead, more than 50 injured after the shooting early this morning in an Orlando, Florida nightclub. The gunman killed in a shootout with police, but not before investigators say he called 911, claiming responsibility for the attack and pledging his allegiance to the terrorist group ISIS. The state of Florida in a state of emergency tonight. ABC's Marcy Gonzalez live in Orlando now with the latest.
Good evening. The shooting started just as the Pulse nightclub behind me here was about to close at 2 o'clock this morning, and the nightmare continued for another 3 hours. That's when the SWAT team moved in to try to rescue dozens of hostages and killed the gunman. We are learning more about him and how this massacre unfolded.
Look at that, just shooting back and forth.
Horrifying moments from the worst mass shooting in American history captured on camera.
Oh my God.
A gunman opening fire early this morning at a gay nightclub in Orlando, Florida.
Bam, 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 bam. There was bodies everywhere, and I was crawling. I just kept crawling.
At least 50 people killed, more than 50 others injured.
This was an act of terror and an act of hate. Attacks on any American, regardless of race, ethnicity, religion, or sexual orientation, is an attack on all of us.
It's sickening. Should make every American angry.
People rushing to the scene after getting heart-wrenching calls and text messages from loved ones inside the club.
My son got shot 3 times.
He said he was going to die and he loved me. That's the last thing I heard.
Hours later, many of them still waiting for news.
They can't identify anybody, so it could be hours and hours.
The gunman killed at the scene, identified by investigators as 29-year-old Omar Mateen. Law enforcement officials say after the shooting began, he called 911 to pledge his allegiance to ISIS.
There were 911 calls in which there was conversation between the subject and law enforcement representatives of 911 dispatchers.
Mateen was known to law enforcement. The FBI interviewed him 3 times back in 2013 and 2014, but he was not deemed a threat. Authorities say he drove to Orlando from his home in Fort Pierce, Florida, armed with an assault weapon and a handgun.
He drove 2 hours in order to go to a gay nightclub and to kill people. I think that speaks for itself.
And federal officials say the gunman bought the weapons used in the attack legally within the past week. The scene here still blocked off as authorities try to identify all of the victims. Live in Orlando, Marcy Gonzalez, ABC News. Now back to you.
A reporter from our sister station in West Palm Beach is also in Orlando tonight. We'll hear from her on the latest developments there coming up in about 20 minutes. The congressmen who represent Central Illinois and Washington, D.C., offering their condolences to families and friends of the victims in Orlando tonight. News Channel 20's Matt Wickos joins us now with what they're saying. Matt.
Lindsay, those lawmakers mourning the victims killed in the deadly attack in Orlando. Senator Dick Durbin tweeting this: heartbreaking reports of ghastly mass shootings in Florida in the middle of LGBT pride celebrations. My thoughts are with the victims this morning. Senator Mark Kirk tweeting this, sending thoughts and prayers to Orlando victims and their families. Thanks to the law enforcement officials who responded to this attack. Congressman Darren LaHood sending us this statement that reads in part, to exercise terror and violence in the name of Islam during Ramadan further emphasizes the idea that these individuals do not live in the true faith for which they claim to represent. I hope further justice is brought forth swiftly to any extremists looking to harm innocent people. Congressman Rodney Davis sat down with us to share his thoughts on the second deadliest attack on American soil.
This is a sad day and a tragic day for America. Terrorism of any kind cannot and will not be tolerated. We need to show strength as America. And we need to stand together in a bipartisan way and not worry about political correctness. Let's worry about making sure we keep Americans safe.
Coming up tonight at 10, we talk to a Springfield bar owner who's been at that Pulse bar in Orlando before and what he says about his visits there. Lindsay.
Matt, thank you. The candidates for president also weighing in on the Orlando attack. Republican Donald Trump drawing controversy for a tweet he sent out. Trump, quote, appreciate the congrats for being right on radical Islamic terrorism. I don't want congrats. I want toughness and vigilance. We must be smart. Opponents criticized Trump for trying to make the attack all about him. Meanwhile, Democrat Hillary Clinton wrote, quote, this is the time to stand together and resolve to do everything we can to defend our communities and country. Bernie Sanders also released a statement that says in part, quote, we extend our heartfelt condolences to the victims' families and loved ones. Our thoughts are with the injured and the entire Orlando LGBTQ community. The attack in Orlando might not have been the only one planned against the LGBTQ community today. A man now in custody in Los Angeles tonight after investigators say he was going to a gay pride parade there with a car full of weapons and ammunition. The Los Angeles Times reports the man told police he was waiting for a friend, and police found his car filled with guns, bullets, and an ingredient used in pipe bombs. No one was hurt. Investigators say it doesn't look like this was connected to Orlando. Investigators in Orlando also say it does not look like today's attack is connected to the shooting death of a singer who appeared on the show The Voice. 22-year-old Christina Grimmie shot and killed Friday night while signing autographs for fans after a performance in Orlando. A 27-year-old man is in custody accused of killing her. New numbers show there have been almost a mass shooting a day in the United States so far in 2016. The nonprofit Gun Violence Archive says there's been 133 mass shootings this year in 164 days. That includes today's in Orlando. More than 200 people have died in those shootings, defined as having 4 or more people hit with gunfire. Those numbers also show Illinois has had the 3rd most mass shootings in the country, with 11, and that Florida's had the most. Our coverage continues tonight on News Channel 20 at 10. We take a look at why some people are now saying attacks like this should not be a surprise. Join us for that story and more tonight on News Channel 20 at 10. In tonight's Crime Watch, investigators in Urbana need your help solving a deadly shooting there. The Champaign County coroner says 29-year-old Matthew Farrell was shot outside a home in the 700 block of East Oregon Street early this morning. He then died at Carle Hospital just after 4:15 a.m. An autopsy is set for tomorrow. If you know anything about Matthew Farrell's death, Urbana police want to hear from you. In vote 2016, Bernie Sanders saying today he will meet with rival Hillary Clinton on Tuesday. Reuters reports Sanders is expected to encourage his progressive agenda and that he wants to learn more about what a Clinton administration would look like. Sanders has not conceded the Democratic nomination to Clinton, who picked up the endorsement of civil rights activist Jesse Jackson Saturday night. Donald Trump may be in the spotlight a lot, but experts say he's actually an introvert. 2 handwriting analyses have concluded Trump's handwriting suggests he is intelligent and hyper-analytical, but he also tends to disconnect from others and create barriers to intimacy. The Republican presidential candidate was anything but introverted yesterday when talking about Hillary Clinton.
She's a total mess. She's unstable. She's unstable. And she can't be president. That's what they said. All these people saying Donald Trump is tough. They talk about the trigger, right? The nuclear trigger. Well, let me tell you, I'll probably be the last one to do it. I hope to God we never have to do it.
Stay with News Channel 20 for the latest on the campaign trail heading into November. That's on air and our website, newschannel20.com. You can also like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Still ahead, how long farmers in Illinois say they still have to wait before they can check out their fields damaged by a big hailstorm. Springfield High may have ended with a runner-up trophy, but it's still a good season for the Senators. Tonight, we take a look back on their successful run.
You're watching News Channel 20 at 5:30 with Lindsay Hess, meteorologist Thomas Patrick, and sports with David Coy. This is News Channel 20 at 5:30.
Classic car collectors from across central Illinois showing off their rides in Springfield today. Today marked the 20th annual Ansar Classic Car Show. Organizers say almost 100 cars came to Lincoln Park for a chance to win one of several awards. Most of the cars are at least 25 years old. Many have been passed down through families. Supporters of Lutheran High in Springfield hitting the links to raise money for the school's athletic program. It was all for the annual Crusader Raiders charity golf outing at the Rail. We're told the event helps offset the cost for students who play sports. And this year, organizers hope it also raises awareness for the construction of the school's new building set to start this fall. Central Illinois missing out on weather that means bad news for farmers in northern Illinois. Farmers there say it'll be at least a week until their fields can be inspected after a hailstorm damaged crops Thursday night. Some farmers say they expect the damages to add up to thousands of dollars. Strong winds also blew over trees 1 to 2 feet across.
This is a huge loss to the Winnebago County rural farmers in this area. In the 43 years I've lived here, I have never endured a hailstorm of this magnitude.
Those storms didn't bring just hail. Strong winds also blew over trees 1 to 2 feet across. And here in central Illinois, showers and thunderstorms, some high winds also.
Yeah, we've been seeing wind gusts as high as 60 miles per hour here.
Wow.
So the stuff we've seen upstate, well, we're going to get a couple more tastes of that right here in central Illinois. We'll detail all of your severe weather chances for the week ahead coming up in your full forecast right after the break.
Now, your Storm Team 20 forecast with meteorologist Thomas Patrick.
Another hot and humid day across central Illinois, except this time around, we added a couple thunderstorms to the mix. Not everyone saw the thunder and lightning out there, but some of us did. So we're going to detail all those thunderstorms, where they are right now, where they're heading in just a moment. But let's stick with the temperatures, the heat. First of all, in the 90s everywhere today, with the exception of Danville at 89. So most of us in the low 90s. Officially, we're actually going to get up to 94 in Springfield for today. Also, the humidity a lot higher today than yesterday, thanks to a cold front that moved a little bit further south. So it squeezed a little bit more moisture together. Dew points in the 70s. That is a tropical air mass out there. Thus, our heat indices were actually in the triple digits at times today. But right now, notice not only are we in the 80s for some communities, some of us are actually sitting in the 70s. 74 in Taylorville, 76 in Litchfield, and 78 in Jacksonville. Notice this little pocket of this yellow-orange shade. It's because it's still raining in some of those areas, and that takes us to the second part of our forecast. The thunderstorms that were able to pop up during the heat of the day, thanks to this backdoor cold front that did drop down from the north earlier today. So focused right along that band, a few thunderstorms popping up, especially near Taylorville first of all, and now they're actually extending away, which means some of these storms are actually moving westward at the current hour. But that first thunderstorm in Taylorville was the strongest of the bunch, produced a 60-mile-per-hour wind gust right at that weather observation point there at the airport in Taylorville. Other than that, everything else has been sub-severe. As of right now, a couple more thunderstorms moving through Meredosha and Winchester, starting to weaken as it heads towards the Illinois River, but another strong thunderstorm out in Brown County, still producing some 45-mile-per-hour wind gusts and a tremendous amount of lightning. 1,250 lightning strikes, that in just the last 15 minutes. So we're talking 5,000 lightning strikes per hour. Luckily, that number should be going down. Also notice this really cool feature, this green line extending outwards towards St. Louis. Well, we covered that last week in our Weatherwise segment. That's an outflow boundary from the rain-cooled air pushing away from those storms. So a little bit of relief because of that, and that's why some of our temperatures are sitting in the 70s right now. However, some of these communities that saw these stronger thunderstorms did get some higher rainfall totals. Look at our live Doppler rainfall, estimating in the highest spots. We've seen about 1.5 inches up towards about 2 inches of rain, especially between Meredosha and Winchester near that I-72 corridor. So some spots seeing a lot of rain, most of us just getting a few showers out there in our northern communities. Nothing at all for today. But notice most of this basically out of central Illinois. It's pushing either west of the Illinois River or south of Interstate 70, so we should be done for the rest of the day today. Our severe weather outlook at a marginal risk, now basically outdated. Remember, we had that 60-mile-per-hour wind gust in Taylorville. All that activity is now coming to an end. So cold front tries to give us a little relief tonight, but the humidity is going to win over for tomorrow. So expect temperatures back in the 90s and another round of thunderstorms come Monday. Not expecting a whole lot of severe weather in the week ahead, but I think Tuesday or Wednesday would be our best chance for some stronger thunderstorms. So for tonight, looks like our thunderstorm activity is again finished. A little bit of relief from the humidity tonight, but we're right back in the heat and humidity for tomorrow with some afternoon scattered thunderstorms, especially late in the afternoon. Tuesday and Wednesday looking like another good chance for thunderstorms. Temperatures remain in the 90s through Thursday, but then the relief finally comes in the form of sunshine heading into next weekend. Lindsay, back to you.
Thank you, Thomas. Still ahead, the steps investigators are now taking to figure out why that gunman in Orlando, Florida, killed 50 people in this morning's nightclub shooting. Continuing coverage now from Florida, where investigators are now looking for answers into the deadliest mass shooting in American history. This morning's attack in Orlando, Florida left 50 dead. Before that, the 2007 attack at Virginia Tech University that left 32 dead was the most deadliest. Linda Figueredo from our sister station in West Palm Beach has the latest from investigators.
We are here in Fort Pierce, where investigators are trying to unravel the motivation behind the worst mass shooting in American history. Behind me, we see the St. Lucie Sheriff's Office preparing its bomb squad to enter the property that is registered to Omar Martin. They believe that he lived in these woodland condominiums behind us. And earlier today, they evacuated nearly 20 residents from the woodland condominiums as investigators set up early this morning. We are told they are hoping to, waiting for a search warrant to begin the search of the property, where they hope to learn a little bit more about Martin and what may have led him to commit such a heinous crime. Now, we did speak to some residents here in the area. They are in shock that he had been on the FBI radar twice prior to this and had been cleared. Now, there is tremendous caution being taken here as they prepare to search this condominium. They want to make sure that there were no traps put in place that could put anyone in harm's way, and we are seeing that after several hours of waiting, they may have received that search warrant. Behind us, we see many of the officers here speaking amongst themselves as they prepare to search this condominium in Fort Pierce. In Fort Pierce, Linda Figueredo.
Coming up next, SHG and Springfield High made history yesterday as they took home state trophies. David Coy will recap the season's next in sports.
With David Coy.
High school baseball and softball seasons have officially come to an end. Springfield High finished its season with a trip to the state finals and took home a second-place trophy, their second in school history. The Senators finished the best record in school history with 34 wins and 6 losses. The team is losing 7 seniors, 3 of which were the big hurlers on the mound. Springfield High will celebrate this season, but will look to reload for next season. The Senators say there really wasn't anything else to accomplish this season.
We set all kinds of school records. There's only been one Springfield public school that's been second before, and we broke their record for wins and fewest losses, and I don't know what else we could have done. I think it's about 300 and some teams that start the tournament. You're second. That's pretty dang good and something to be awful proud of.
We really went up against the odds, and people didn't really know about us, and we knew we had the talent to come here, and we really just had to take care of the little things, and that's what we did, and we've come a long way, and I couldn't be more proud of these guys and what we've accomplished together.
To the softball diamond, it wasn't exactly how they wanted to end the season, but Sacred Heart Griffin took home a third-place trophy yesterday, a better finish than the previous season. SHG finished yesterday's game in 5 innings. The Cyclones finished the season 34-6 and will lose 5 seniors, but the future is bright. The team says they've shown improvement this season by taking home a third-place trophy. They will expect to go even further in 2017.
Yeah, last year was 4th, this is 3rd, so hopefully we'll get up to 2nd or 1st next year. That's going to be our goal next year. So I'm sure the little girls will be shooting for it.
Yeah, we're going to have a good team again next year, and I hope we make it back here and we win the first game and we get first next year, and I think we will.
It just feels good that we know we accomplished something better than we did last year, and it feels good because it's going to give the underclassmen hope of coming back again next year, and they have the goal to win second next year, win first. We're just moving up on the ladder each and every year that we play.
The MLB draft came to an end, and 4 Illini players were drafted to 4 different big league ball clubs. In the first round, Illinois pitcher Cody Sedlock was drafted by the Baltimore Orioles. In the 9th round, catcher Jason Goldstein was taken by the Seattle Mariners. Pitcher Nick Blackburn will head to Arizona. He was drafted in the 16th round. J.D. Nielsen will join the Angels. He was drafted in the 34th round. And finally today, shortstop Adam Walton wasn't drafted, but he signs a free agent deal with the Diamondbacks. Being a redshirt junior, Walton had an option to return to Illinois, but he has elected to take his talents to the next level. Staying with the MLB, the Cubs look to take the series over the Braves. John Lester is 3-0 with a .77 ERA. In the last 3 outings, he gets a strikeout over Freddie Freeman. He had 7 Ks in 7 innings. 7th inning we go, 2 on. Anthony Rizzo with a single to right center field. Jason Hayward comes home to score. He went 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs today. Next batter, Ben Zobrist with a double to left field. Chris Bryant comes home to score. Cubs up 6-1. 8th inning now, Javier Baez with a deep 3-run bomb. That's his 5th homer of the year. Cubs win 13-2. Royals snapped their 8-game losing streak yesterday. White Sox looking to bounce back. We start with Kendrell Morales, and he singles to right center field. And Whit Merrifield comes home to score. Kansas first on the board. Then, bottom of the 6th, Jose Abreu gets back on track. He gets a nice solo shot to center field. Southsiders within 1. We move to top 9. Salvador Perez would drive this one deep to left field. That's like a line drive homer. That would be good. Royals take 2 of this series, 3-1 the final. Heading over to the racetrack, the Sprint Cup Series continues with the Firekeepers Casino 400. We start lap 46. Martin Truex Jr. spins out in turn 4. That would bring out the caution, but he was in second. Lap 109 now, Jeffrey Earnhardt, and then all the different happenings with the fire, but they would be okay. Moving on. But Joey Logano would be able to come on and win the checkered flag here in 2016's version of the Firekeepers Casino 400 at Michigan. So congratulations to him.
Must be hot inside those cars.
Especially with the ones that was on fire early on. Of course, he was okay with that one.
Yeah,
so.
well, we're feeling like we're baking inside the cars outside today with the heat indices in the triple digits today. But we could see a few more thunderstorms in the next couple days. I think we're okay for the rest of the day today. But Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, temperatures in the 90s, chances for thunderstorms.
All right, thanks so much, Thomas. That's our time for News Channel 20 at 5:30. Enjoy your Sunday. We'll see you back at 10.